Preecy, you want to win that was then 3 points and a clean sheet this afternoon against Bedford Town. Can't be bad.
No, look, it's been a while coming. We've had a tough patch, haven't we, results-wise. But I felt like performances were improving. Went to Radcliffe and got a draw. Possibly could have won that. Here against Workshop, I thought we played well. I thought individually, probably every player played well, but we found a way of losing that game. And today, although it wasn't easy and it wasn't totally comfortable, and there was always going to be a twist to the tail. Just look when we probably just looked comfortable and that we were going to see the game through, and Joe gets sent off, but the lads dug in like I know they will, and like I know they do. One thing for sure, they always give their all, even if performance is not great. The lads will give their everything for the football club, for me, and they were buzzing at the end, and deserved it. It's hard going through these spells, and it's difficult, and you can have doubts, but you find out about people, and people you want in your trenches with you, when you're winning, and to keep you going and keep pushing you and keep challenging and making sure that you're switched on, you don't take things for granted. And then you need people in your trenches when things are going bad that are going to pick you up and keep behind you. And I certainly found out, that we've, in our squad, everybody's in the trenches, whether we're winning, whether we're losing, and then I've had quite a few people, fans wise as well, they're in the trenches, whatever, they're going to be alongside you, and that means a lot, and I know when I look at somebody now that, who's in the trenches and who's alongside you, and that means a lot. And then when you get this result, that's for them. And decent crowd again today, got behind us, and we, there were difficult moments, but we were pretty much in control of the game for the majority of it. Should have scored more. We had quite a few real good chances, especially from set pieces. A real good team effort again. Subs who came on were magnificent. Disappointed I couldn't get Jack on. It was, probably just a game that would have been difficult to throw him in on his debut, with so much at stake. And probably we were probably on the back foot a little bit, especially when Joe went off. So yeah, pleased for everybody. And although we have had a tough period, you look at the league table and we're 4 points off fourth in the league. So amazingly enough, we're still in a good position.
Jack Sampson back in the team from the start today and back with a goal right on the stroke of half time. That must have made your half time team talk an awful lot easier.
Yeah, look, he's we talk about key players, and Sampo and Cole are two key players for us, and if we've got one of those on the pitch, it takes a lot of the workload off Tom and Harry, allows them to play in a different way, which probably suits them. So it's great to have him on the pitch. I had to take him off, and probably went a little bit against what I'd been advised. I was only meant to play in 45 minutes. He played 65, but I felt it was worth the risk, and great that he gets a goal. Great delivery by Jack. We know what quality he can give us, and yeah, great for him, because he's desperate to play. He'd stay on for 9 minutes, but we have to protect him a little bit. And I thought when Harry come on, I bet he did as much distance in 30 minutes as some people did in all game. He never stopped running for us. So yeah, really pleased for Sampo. but you know, there were a lot of good performances, as there were last week. You know, and a couple of lads like Joe and Harvey who missed out today. You know, we're really unlucky to miss out. So yeah, pleased. Good performances right through the team, and a welcome 3 points.
You mentioned Harvey missing out, and in his place came Mark Ellis, who I thought was a real rock at the back. Does it give you a bit of extra satisfaction that you can bring someone like Mark in and swap him out with Harvey and come up with a performance like that?
Look, I got absolute faith in this squad. I think we've got a really, really good squad. The thing that's killed us is that, you know, we've lost 2 or 3 players that are very difficult to replace. You know, Cole Hall, there ain't many Cole Halls about, what he can do. There ain't many George Aubrey's about what George can do. They are, you know, you lose those 2 pretty much all season, that's going to put a dent in you. So you've got to go out and try and find it's almost impossible. Now, Max Wilson's come in and he's been magnificent for us in the 2 games. Slightly different to George, but he gives some of those attributes that George does, and he might be the one to fill that void. And then, you know, when Sampo's back, we are a different team. Cole, you know, is just waiting on his results now. Now, if those come back positive and everything's good, you know, he could be back with us within the next month, which would be such a boost for us. And then that takes a bit of pressure off Sampo, takes a bit of pressure off Harry and Tom. So, you know, I keep looking at the league table, even though we were losing and drawing games. I just think you can't just stay in touch, and if things go our way, you know, as long as I think I've always said, you know, if you're within 6 or 8 points with 10 games to go of the playoffs, you got a chance. You know, we're within 4 points of the top 4 as it stands. So we can be positive because now we've got the win. That'll give us that belief and that confidence in going to the next one. But what we have learned is how hard it is to win a game of football, and how you do not take for granted the amount of games we've won consistently over the last 3.5 years. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson that we've learned.
You mentioned there the recruiting side, obviously with Max Wilson, but one I can't help but ask you is I suppose your thoughts on George Pratt and Christy Montgomery both starting for Blackburn Rovers last night against Preston North End, both who made a massive impact in their times on loan with us over the last 12 months.
For me, that's why I do this. Why they do this job. Yeah, look, obviously I've got ambitions to manage it at the highest level. You know, for whatever reason, that it's probably not going to happen. You know, but helping lads like George and helping lads like Christy, helping lads like Craig and Jack Hazelhurst and you know, Max, and you know that I love it. You know, I live for helping these young lads, and if you can have an effect on lads in a positive way and help them progress, then that's great. You know, and we do a lot of work here to help them and make the environment right and work with them and make sure they go back better players. And you know, Kyle does well to spot them, because you know when Christy was first coming to us, you know, the Blackburn were talking about other players maybe being ahead of Christy, but Kyle was adamant that Christy would be the right one for us, and you know he's been proved right. So that's what football's about for me at this minute in time. And you know, I spoke to both lads after the game. It was great to see them both on the pitch, and yeah, look, it's something that's happened for, you know, probably since I've been manager. You know, amount of players I could, you know, reel off a long list of players that have gone on and done really well. So, you know, that makes me feel great. You know, that's why I do the job. And help these lads. You know, there's going to be lads here, you know, that will progress and move on and go and play at higher level. You know, and the latest one that we brought in, Jack, didn't get on today, but he'll be another one.
And just finally, a very, very quick turnaround to Tuesday night against Spennymoor Town. Going to be really tough, isn't it?
Yeah, Spennymoor have done really well. Had a very good start to the season. Scored a lot of goals. Obviously, Taylor's, you know, banging goals in left, right, and centre like he does. And yeah, we always have tough battles against Spennymoor. Massive mutual respect between the two clubs. You know, we've both been up there challenging for a number of years now. So yeah, look, it'll be another difficult game, but it's a chance again at home. We want to build now on this, you know, what can you say, unbeaten in 2 in the league. We want to extend that for as long as we can. But we know that'll be a tough ask. Obviously a Tuesday night, difficult when we've had 2 home games to expect a lot of fans to come out and again dig deep and support us, but you know, we need that backing, and that backing's what's got us through this little period. And it was great at the end, you know, to share a win with them, you know, because it's been a while. Maybe not so much at home, but over that period. And we can all have smiles on our face. Look at the league in a positive way now, and look forward to another tough National League North game on Tuesday night.